Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Inc. virtual studios. I'm Bob Woods, Stan Robinson Jr., and Bryn Tillman are here as well. How y'all doing today?
Awesome, Bob. How are you?
Doing good. Stan, how you doing, man?
Real good. Thanks, Bob. Yep.
Cool. Great. So let's get into today's subject. So understanding your clients' needs and aligning your solutions with their desired results is, I hope everyone knows, is the key to success. But it's the key to success in every way. It includes your success as a salesperson, your company's success as a product solution provider, whatever it is you sell, and of course, your client's success. The goal for everyone in that list is to position both yourself and your solution at the intersection of your client's challenges and their desired results. This is how you, as a sales pro, become wildly essential rather to your client's success, right, Brent?
Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. This is a different topic than we would normally talk about. Most of the time, we're talking about the very top of the funnel. We're talking about how do we get the initial conversations. This is once we have the conversation, really, right?
Yep.
So when we're talking about, as Bob mentioned, that this is your solution is at the intersection of their challenge and the results, we have already earned the right to talk about how we can help them. So this is further down the pipeline, further down the funnel. As my friend Liz Hyman, if she kept hearing me say pipeline, it's funnel. So it is definitely further down the funnel. So as we're going through this, I want just it to be exceptionally clear that this conversation is we've already earned the right to get the conversation. And they are now interested in learning how we might be able to help them. So that is where we are in the sales process as we talk through this. I also want to quickly say, because this isn't really part of the agenda, but it's something that I think I want to just add at the top of the conversation here, which is an acronym that we used eons ago, and recently I dusted it off, called CHIRP, which is
Yep.
challenge, history, impact, risk, and priority. So we're going to go through a few areas today, but the conversation that we're going to have really needs to hit these 5 points. What is the challenge they're facing? And Bob and Stan will go deeper into this, but what's the challenge they're facing? What's the history? What have they gone through to try to fix this before? Maybe what has worked a little, what hasn't worked at all, right? We want to know their history with this challenge, because we don't end up wanting to recommend something they've tried and failed at before, right? We want to understand what that's been like. Impact. Impact is today. What is the impact it's having on their business right now? Risk. What is the risk of not making a change? And priority. We could identify the challenge, the impact, but this could be so low on the priority that they're never going to decide to work with us. So I think, like, as a foundation, CHIRP is a really good way to look at this. So Bob, I'm going to toss it back to you, and let's get back to the topic at hand, which is bridging the gap between challenges and desired results.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know that with this episode, we are giving away our actual Salesperson's Guide to Success ebook, because that's what this episode is entitled. But there is an accompanying ebook as well. It's free, and it's available at socialsaleslink.com/success. If you're watching us right now live, you can see the address on your screen there. There's also a little QR code that you can use as well. And if you are listening to us via podcast, we should have that in the show notes for you as well to click through and get that. So that breaks down the framework. explores how leveraging platforms like LinkedIn and AI tools can enhance your approach to delivering your tailored solutions. So, with that, I'm not sure who's going to take what, but we have four main points in our agenda. The first one has to do with social listening. Let's do a lightning round. Whoever buzzes in first can take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start just with a couple of things.
Yeah.
Social listening. One of the things that platforms, particularly LinkedIn, I do have to mention Sales Navigator because some of you are probably using that tool, and LinkedIn has always been a great platform for listening to what your audience is talking about. In fact, that's why a lot of executives are on LinkedIn to keep up with what their peers are talking about in a business context. Sales Navigator keeps improving the platform with AI, like
Hmm.
Account IQ, where you can click and learn all types of information about accounts, their how they make money, their challenges, their competitors, etc. Lead IQ, where you can get deep information on individuals, and they keep improving that. So, social listening, I just wanted to say, is a way to get insights into what's top of mind for your particular audience. Bryn mentioned priorities, among other things. And
Hmm.
so, listening to what people are talking about online can help you identify some of those.
Me or you, Bob?
You can go next.
All right. I love that. I would say social listening is paired with research, right? So a lot of what Stan talked about is where are we finding the data, the information that can help us leverage that data to start trust-based conversations to understand what our prospect is going through. So I'm going to now throw in a little AI outside of LinkedIn, which is how do we take this content, this data, these insights, and make them actionable? So one of the things that we recommend, and if you're interested, we have crispy prompts, which are context, role, inspiration, scope, prohibitions, and you, crispy prompts that can help you in your pre-call planning, in your preparation. So high level, if you have Sales Navigator, grab that lead IQ information, that account IQ information. If you don't, simply grab either a PDF of their profile, and you can do that by clicking resources and download profile PDF, upload that into your favorite LLM along with their website and those lead IQ, account IQ data, and now ask AI to start to put this together in context. So we're talking about bridging their challenge with the results they're looking for. And while we really don't know their specifics before we meet with them, we could get a pretty good idea about what's going on, in the industry. And we probably know, based on other people we've talked to, what is likely happening. So once we've got that personal data, the specific tailored data, and now we go in with a really good prompt asking AI to say, what stands out are the biggest challenges from this company, from trends in the industry, who are their competitors, who are their clients, what is the challenge they solve, who are they solving it for? And then if you've got a set of typical discovery questions, you can say, bridge my discovery questions to their situation and give them a list of those. So now we are prepared going into this call with enough insight that we can start a really good conversation. And I had this conversation in training. I was down in Miami doing some training for City National Bank of Florida this week, and we all laughed because the biggest mistake a banker could make, a salesperson could make, is pulling out their yellow pad and pen, leaning back and saying, "So, what keeps you up at night?" And when you don't do this pre-call planning, that's kind of where you're stuck, even if you don't
Mhm.
use those exact words. So if we want to truly bridge their challenge and the results they're getting, it starts with social listening.
Yep. And that rolls right in perfectly to number two, which is focusing on their desired results. And how do you do that? You focus on their outcomes. So your solution needs to be directly tied to help them achieve whatever goals that they have. And that means being outcome oriented in every conversation. So to me, that means a couple of different things. The biggest thing is it's going to get you out of the sales speak. It's going to get you out of the features and the benefits and everything that most every other salesperson, except for the ones who listen to us, obviously, will do in their sales presentations and their sales conversations or whatever they're focusing on themselves. They need to focus on being outcome oriented. A big way to do that is to use LinkedIn. You know, you can share case studies, testimonials, success stories, things like that, because you want your potential clients to envision the results that they could achieve by working with you. This also helps you because it shows that you have a track record, that you are actually working with other people who are hopefully facing similar types of things, or maybe not similar things necessarily, but they know that you're up on what it is that you sell and the outcomes, especially the outcomes that you can bring for them if they decide to sign the dotted line and hire you for whatever it is that you're doing. That's my spiel. Who's next?
Stands up.
Dan.
That is great, but you meant that you hit the key, which is focusing on outcomes rather than features in terms of what the product. The
Yep.
the person you're talking to is only interested in outcomes. And one additional AI tool that you can use if you're not sure about outcomes is you can use deep research. And ChatGPT, Google Gemini, all offer deep research, and you have a certain number of searches for free. And you can ask it to do deep research on a specific company,
Mhm.
give it the company's website, any other information, and just let it go. And it'll search 25 to 100 websites while you're doing something else
Hmm.
and bring back deeper information about what types of results they may be interested in that you may not have thought of or seen on social yourself.
Yep.
So I both of you just awesome insight. I think the piece I'd like to bring to this conversation is something that we used to call, I guess we could still call it, the backwards timeline, right? So, in a perfect world, first of all, you know, whatever the timeline, in a year from now, if we were sitting here and saying, oh my gosh, that was a big win, what did that look like? And I always thought, when we're having that conversation, it's powerful. But something Bob said that I think is really important around that case study, the case stories, is that's the social proof that you can actually do it, that it's not just all talk, right? So bringing those stories into the reverse, I said backwards, it's the reverse timeline. I said it wrong. I've corrected myself.
Hmm.
The reverse timeline is okay. So now we know, in order for this to be successful, they want this rolled out in 9 months. What does success look like? What impact is it now having on the business? What risks have we avoided? Right? What does all of that look like? What does it feel like? What does that outcome feel like? Right? We emotionally connect with them. And then once we're there and they're bought in and they're like, yep, this is exactly where I want to be. Now we go, okay, in order to get here, this is what we have to do 2 weeks out of that. And then 4 weeks from that, all the way back to today. So by doing that reverse timeline, we are bridging their challenge and their solution with, their challenge and their outcome with our solution in a clear path,
Hmm.
complete timeline from where we are today to the outcomes. And so that becomes the bridge that makes it really hard for them to say no to when they're looking at the solution and they have already expressed how important this is and how meaningful it is and how it's going to make them feel and their employees feel and their customers feel, right? And so when we've built that outcome emotionally, mentally, and financially based on the original challenge that we uncovered, that reverse timeline is the perfect bridge to get them from where they are today to where we can get them to in those outcomes.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So before we go on to, well, they're all big. I was going to say one of the biggies, but we only have four and they're all big. Just want to remind you real quick about our free ebook at socialsaleslink.com/success. Just go there, fill in the information. It will download right away. You also have the QR code. I'm going to point that way upper. Yeah,
Yep.
it's always screwy when you're looking at the screen. You don't know where you're pointing at. Get your free copy with the QR code as well. So, with that, let's go on to number three. This is where the bridge comes in, your solution as the bridge with the power of personalization. So, I almost said that wrong too, because that's kind of a long word. So, I'm just going to comment really quick, and then whoever wants to take it next can go with it. But just realize that one size fit all solutions just isn't going to cut it. I mean, you really need to position your solution as that true bridge. And as we all know, there are a lot more than just one types of bridge out there. So, you
I'm
got
a suspension bridge kind
yeah,
of person.
suspension bridge, you got the draw bridge, all that other type of stuff. So, if you've got a one size fits all solution, then you may need to think about how to plug that in by doing everything that we've already done. But you can't go in with a one size fits all solution mindset. You really need to personalize. So with that, Bryn or Stan, I teed it up for you.
I'll just quickly say and then hand it to Stan. Um, so the reverse timeline is the beginning of personalization, but that's not the end of personalization, right? That's what opens the door. Every stage, we need to take into consideration all of the stakeholders and how each of them have a different goal. So we may have a common outcome, but what matters to IT is different than the CFO, is different than the head of sales, is different than the CEO, is different than the board of directors, right?
Mhm.
So all of the stakeholders each have a expectation and of not just the outcome, but the journey to the outcome and what they need to see in order to feel comfortable. So understanding all the players for
Mhm.
personalization is really important. Understanding their other vendors and the other uh, projects, programs that they're working on to make sure that we are not in the way. So, pure example, I was in a client that had a sales training company that they were working with, and they were really teaching deep cold calling. And I recognized in order for our program to be successful, we had to integrate it. And we don't do any cold calling on LinkedIn, but we did come up with a plan that integrated into their so it became lukewarm calling instead of cold calling, right? So we integrated into their existing process, into their existing campaign. And I think I just jumped to alignment. I did. I went to the next one, Bob. I jumped ahead.
That's okay.
Sorry, sorry.
Totally.
But personalization, right? So we just want to make sure that every step of the way we've got this personalized for everyone. And so Stan, you can close us out, and then we can go to alignment.
Well, One other thing regarding personalization, and you touched on it, it's probably, it could be worth an episode itself, was connecting with people emotionally. Because we all say, well, we make decisions based on logic. Well, we actually make decisions. Now, those listening to the podcast can't see Bryn and Bob shaking their heads. But even though we want to claim we make decisions based on logic, we make decisions emotionally and justify them with logic. And if you know the emotional, what's important to people, whether it's career advancement, whether it's, which may tie back to providing for their family, some people may be super competitive. If you have a sense of what really motivates people, you can include that in how you hyper personalize what we've been talking about. Because you'll talk to Bob one way, Bryn a different way, John a different way, based on what's important to them from an emotional standpoint.
You just so nailed that, Stan, with like
Yeah.
what motivates them.
Yep.
Because when you know that, oh,
Yep.
that was
If
that was
going
my mic drop moment for today.
Yeah, if you go into a marketing person talking like you're talking to IT, it's you're not going to make there's going to be a negative connection. It's going to be like two magnets that are of the same poles. You're going to actually repel them. So, yeah, you have to know who you're talking to and what's important for them emotionally and logically too. I mean, logic does come into it obviously, but ultimately it's emotion that drives logic.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Bryn, you already
Alignment.
started it. You already started it. Why don't you just keep rolling with the vital role of alignment? Because it really it brings everything together.
Well, we need to align with a lot of things. I'll just finish my original thought of alignment is we have to align with what is their current process? What resources and tools do they have available to them today? And we have to make sure that, as we are rolling out whatever program we're rolling out with them, if we need internal support, do we have that? If we don't, do we have someone that we can pull in to fill that gap? Right. So where identifying where the bottlenecks might be and making sure that you are aligning your process with, um, you know, all the way through the with the the resources that they have. I want to throw out my friend and brilliant, just brilliant. He's not really a colleague. He's my friend, John Stopper. It's called The Compass, northstar8.com. I highly recommend sales leaders go check this out. Talks about something that Bob alluded to, which is your marketing has a different speak than your IT. What he does when he goes into his clients, and he works with relatively decent size tech SaaS type clients typically, he has the IT person in the seller meet with the IT person in the buyer.
Mhm.
The marketing person in the seller meet with the marketing person in the buyer. The CEO meets with the CEO. The CFO meets with the CFO. So when you have that old saying, everyone's in sales, in his clients, they really are. They don't have to sell, but that alignment
Mhm.
of role to role, peer to peer is so powerful. The relationships that form, and to Bob's point, the salesperson doesn't necessarily have to know all the speak as long as they're connecting with the right person inside of their organization and everyone is aligned.
Exactly, and that really is the ultimate of alignment is peer to peer conversations with the ultimate goal of doing everything that we've already discussed. So I think that in the end, sales isn't just about offering a product. I think we all know that by now. We probably knew that coming into this conversation. It's about aligning, there's that word again, your expertise. It's about insights and your solutions, all of that with your clients' goals in mind, at the forefront of your mind. All that creates lasting impact, because you're going to, by doing everything that we've just talked about, you really are going to build long-term trusting relationships. That's going to sustain your success as well as your company's success. So I think with that, we're going to throw up the ebook again really quick, socialsaleslink.com/success. It's a free ebook. Go ahead and download it. And in conjunction with this episode, you're going to have a really, really good guide for you to be successful in a way that you may not have thought of before, because we're always so product driven, sell the product, sell the product, sell the product. It ain't the case anymore. Definitely ain't the
Solve a
case.
problem, solve a problem, solve a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
There you
I
go.
like that a lot. That's great. So, whether you've been with us live or recorded via our podcast, thanks for joining us for this episode of Making Sales Social Live. We do these weekly, so join us every week. If you're listening to us on our podcast, which means we're recorded, and you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. Drop us a like or a comment, maybe and do both. That would be even better. Besides these LinkedIn Lives, we also interview leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. So catch those episodes as well. Socialsaleslink.com/podcast is where you're going to find much more information, as well as all of our episodes on that website, as well as all of the platforms that you can, well, maybe not every single one, but definitely all the biggies. So with that, when you are out and about this week and every week, be sure that you're making your sales